What up, peoples? Alexa, stop. I know about y'all, but I got Alexa out here. Welcome. Let me make it public, Tito. You can start sharing.
Well, once you get it to me, I will, my brother.
1 second. Boom, that's done. All right, that's done. Let's share this thing. What's up, my people? Thank you for tapping in. We here for another weekday. Dang, I'm all out of whack. Another weekday, New England Youth Football Podcast. Bring it to you live and direct. The best conversations all over the internet about youth football. Our topics be real, raw, rugged. Y'all know what we doing. Y'all know how we do it. Everything. We talk about the real youth football topics. Y'all know what we talking about. We talk about the real topics.
Yeah, we didn't come up with no alternative platform.
We're going to tackle the hard topics. The stuff we really know what y'all dealing with in your communities. Your questions the parents really got. I think it's important that we, put the people on, enlighten them. Stuff like that. I think that's important stuff. We got to continue to, feed the people. Supreme Athletic. Mark Jennings, what's up, my brother? So we got great conversations tonight. It's something probably a lot of parents and coaches have never thought of. But I would love to hear from everybody out there about these topics. So we're going to give you a countdown. We're going to get started. Let's go. All right, we back. It's your boy PH, a.k.a. the Prez, Mr. Black Excellence himself, Mr. Above 140, and my co-host.
It's your boy, Coach Career, the GeneralGridiron.com, even though I'm about to upgrade that, but that's still up and running. But either way, what's good with you, my boy?
I'm chilling. I had a great day at work. Good things going on. The Canes are back in action tomorrow, doing what we do best. Getting started. It's a city program, just to put that out there. It's active city. Hartford Hurricanes will be running. Cheerleading, football starting tomorrow, 6 to 7:30 every Tuesday and Thursday. I ain't ready, but I'm excited. I'm getting a lot of phone calls. I think we might have more kids than we ever had. Because all the phone calls are from new youth.
Always a blessing, brother. As long as we keep doing the right things, we're always going to be blessed on that side of things.
Laser, what up?
What up, Cuddy?
Mark said he'll be there. Yeah, we at Andy. We at the big house. Pull up. All right, yo, let's get started. Let's have a good podcast.
I met a boy today.
That's me.
So fine.
If you know, tap in, share the post. It's your boy PH, a.k.a. the Press, a.k.a. Mr. Above 140.
Come to my town and get with me. She love I'm around.
It's not about the amount of talent you have. It's 100% about the work ethic. Ask your coach or anybody that's been doing this.
I met a boy today. So fine.
Why is it? And they gonna say, oh, yeah, that's illegal. Cut this. Cut it out. All you coaches out there, cut it out. Because that's BS.
Tito. I got some great content. First question of the day, Tito. Prep schools. I'm going to turn it over to you. Here's my question to everybody out there. Here's my question. Nate, what up? New Haven in the house. Here's my question. Why, and this is what was told to me by a credible source that knows the landscape of training programs and sports and specifically that transition from youth to high school. Why is New England so caught up on the prep school route and feeling like that's their way out, whereas other parts of the country, they don't see it like that? You don't hear heavy emphasis on prep school in Miami and Alabama and Georgia and those other places. I'll turn it over to you for some insight.
I think part of it, because I've been to other parts of the country, obviously with this football stuff, whether I've been speaking or I attend clinics or we've been down there with multiple football teams, there's not as much, let me see what this family's doing and let me go follow what they're doing. That don't exist over there. Over here, we tend to get, because I think just the way we are, how compact and how close we are in proximity, that a lot of people do the copycat thing and everybody thinks that's the wave when maybe 10% of kids are in prep school. I mean, I don't know what the real numbers are, but it's not just something that you can follow anybody to do. You know, you got to be willing to make sacrifices. You got to be willing to do the extra things to put your kid in that predicament. And I do believe a lot of people in New England they're misled when they think that, okay, your talent is going to get you there. There's so much more than your talent that can get you there. And I think everybody thinks once you get there, that's the end all be all, where really it's just the beginning of the journey. And this day and age, with everything else that's going on, it may not be with the NAIL and the transfer portal. Prep school's not what it once was. It's not and I think down south, they know that already. That, you know, first of all, I don't even know how many prep schools are really down south, to be honest with you.
9% of youth in America attend prep schools. 9%.
9%. I was close then. I said 10. And to be honest with you, with as much time as I spend in Florida, you hear their prep schools are more like Catholic schools. They're not how we per se have prep schools out here, like other academic institutions. Out there, they're like preparatory educational academies. You get what I'm saying? I don't even think those type of schools exist. I think that's a Northeast thing. I'm almost positive that's a Northeast thing. I don't know how many prep schools, you know, I've never even heard of a prep school in Florida, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you that I think the main reason it's an East Coast thing is because the opportunities are limited, I think. Right. And I think what happens is when our opportunities become limited, you find out where's the source for success, and everybody want that success, so everybody filters there. I'll give you an example. So we know if you look at the statistics, the amount of kids Avon, No Farms, Choate, and all of these prep schools are putting out to Division I, right? As opposed to a New Britain High, a high school in Hartford, a high school in Bridgeport, a high school in Waterbury. So what happens? You see kids going and getting out of our community and getting into a Division I, II, or III school to play ball, and that's your dream, and your kid is good, and he possibly have the talent. So we're so small that we all see that small tunnel where everybody get out. Whereas down south, you have high schools that pump out more kids to colleges than some major prep schools in New England. And not one, you have multiple high schools in Florida, Georgia, Texas, California, where they're pumping out more college athletes than the prep schools in New England. We don't have that in New England. We don't have high school farms. What's a high school football farm in Connecticut? Is there a high school that's a football farm?
No.
I don't know one. There's some really good football teams in Connecticut. I'm not saying that.
I mean, you got those schools down south.
That speaks to what's going on down south.
We don't have it. And then, like I said, the closest thing that I know down south is like not even IMG. They're like their own thing. But the closest thing I know to a prep school down south they have is St. Thomas Aquinas, which is the school Chris Carter's son went to all the way down there in I want to say it's Fort Lauderdale, maybe. Those type of regular Catholic schools would be considered, I guess, their version of prep schools. Like I said, I couldn't even name you one prep school from Florida, Texas, or California. And then when we start talking about the South, like the big other football hotbeds, Louisiana, Mississippi, those things don't exist there because they have high-level Catholic schools that are basically the same as prep schools. And because they start school a year later down south, that's another big thing, Phil. Those kids are always a year older, so there may not be need for the 5th year because they're not allowed to start the 6th, and I know that for a fact. You can't start school.
Are you saying that reclassing is not as much as a thing in the South?
No, it's not because they start school a year later. They're a year older already down south. That's why when you go down there and you bump into the South schools, their 8th grade teams are filled with 14-year-old 8th graders. The reason that happens is because they don't start school till 6. So they're not being pushed out early. Like Connecticut is one of 3 states in the country.
You can even start at 4 now.
Right. Connecticut is one of the only states, one of the 3 states in the country where we're putting kids out. We're allowed to get them out the house early. You know what I'm saying? You're not every state's like that. And the red states are definitely not like that.
Let me read. Mike said it's because New England isn't strong as Florida, Georgia, Texas high school. So prep is the best way for these kids to get a look. A lot of colleges doesn't look at New England high schools as a powerhouse as far as talent in the South. I think that's kind of what I was saying.
We all know that.
His brother has a January birthday. He may not have a class. Well, here's the thing.
He may not need to. Let's not make this a personal case-by-case thing. We're talking holistically right now, right? We're not talking personal.
A lot of the reclassing, we got to be clear. It's not always have to do with age. A lot of these guys are reclassing because their talent says they need to reclass.
Reclass or their grades.
I'm not talking about what Tyree just said. In general, a lot of people need to reclass, Cito, because they ain't ready to do what it is where they at. Like, that's just real. A lot of them ain't ready for where they at. So they reclass.
People are very unrealistic. We've talked about this before, especially parents. They're delusional about their kids' abilities. They're absolutely delusional about their kids' abilities. And I'm starting to believe, I don't think a lot of people know what a Division I athlete absolutely looks like. These guys got to look to them. It's not like the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? When you see these guys, they stand out in any place where they're at. And I don't think people understand the look of a true Division I football player, and even better yet, a true professional athlete. These dudes, when they walk into somewhere, there's no doubt these guys do something. And I think people lose sight of that because everybody says, oh, hard work gets you there, this, and that. Yes, hard work with genetics, with your schoolwork will get you there. But it's a 3-pronged thing. It's not one or and you don't have the other 2. You got to have all of them.
Von Perry said football life down south and plus the weather plays a major part. They get to be outside damn near all year. That's true. But if you have a June birthday, reclass, a June, July birthday, reclass is an option.
Is an option. And if you're September, October, November, December, baby, you're really hit. You're always going to be young. If you come out the gate early,
that's an option. Kid going into prep school that the prep school coach want to reclass. I don't care when your birthday is. If you get into prep school at 9th grade or 10th grade, reclass is an option. Now, is whether that coach, I don't know. Carl said it depends on the reason for reclassification. Well, yeah, I think he's talking to the purpose. I think I very rarely ever see it for grades because if you get in, you got the grades, right? Like, let's be honest. They're stickler for education. The first thing they ask you is what is grades like? If you guys out there ever deal with prep schools from a coaching on the coaching side, their first question is not how talented he are, because more than likely they have seen that. They already believe. They go, what is his grades like? Very rarely are people asked to reclass because of grades. Tito is right. When Clemson was recruiting one of his players at Avon, they were surprised on how young
the player was up here. We're definitely at a disadvantage because, like I said, in Florida, especially when you go down there for nationals, when you're showing up there with your 14-year-old team that has a lot of regular 13-year-olds and maybe some 12-year-olds, those guys are rolling out there with true 14-year-old eighth graders, and that makes a difference. Starting at 6 makes a huge difference on why I don't think we don't hear of prep schools past the Mason-Dixon. You won't hear of it. You don't hear of it because those kids, like you said, number one, those high schools are football factories. Number two, they're the age they should be. Connecticut is one of the only 3 states that allows you to push these kids out early. And it's to our detriment when it comes to sports.
Wow, that's an interesting perspective. And I wonder if anyone, when these go up to the state capitol for changes, if anybody from the CIAC, the high school association, any of those places, if they're
now, this leads to a bigger conversation.
Aspect. No, but are they thinking about the aspect of how this has ripple effects to all of our youth statewide, right? Because we're talking about the potentially, Tito, kids not getting 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 scholarships because the school system is saying, we can start at 4.5.
Right. Well,
right?
That leads
so now
to
you start to see 16-year-old seniors headed to college competing against 18 and 19-year-old seniors.
We're at a disadvantage.
That's tough.
We're at a disadvantage. We're at a disadvantage, and it's a bigger conversation because why do they do that? When you think about this, the 3 states that allow you to do that are all blue states. Why do they do that? You know, you don't want me to go down this road because this is going to open Pandora's box.
Go talk about it.
Because for the most part, in our urban communities, we're below the poverty lines, and they know our people have to push these kids out to school as quick as they can so they could go to work. You understand? You get what I'm saying? So they could go to work. Where in those red states down south, there is none of these, you know, how welfare is over here. There is none. Everybody has to work. So therefore, if you're working,
that I think is what you're trying to say.
Right.
There's no social safety net down south.
There is none whatsoever. You got to work. You get what I'm saying? So if you're working,
that would almost make me think it would be opposite.
No,
because
it's not.
Them down there have to work because there is no social safety net.
Right,
up here, you actually don't have to work.
You don't have to work.
No, but I'm saying you don't. It would almost make me believe, at least, that your argument would be switched, meaning they would pump them out down south earlier, just for the simple fact they have to work. There's no social safety net. That kid that finished at 18, 19. He don't have a welfare, a universal health care.
They don't have those.
I know.
They don't have those options. They don't have those options. Over here, we have those options. And also, if you're the working class, hold on, because if you're the working class in Connecticut and you're not getting those benefits, you got to get to work. So you're going to push. If you're a working class family, you're going to push your kids out early.
No, but you don't understand, Tito. I think that's, in my opinion, once your kid turns 18, I had a daughter in college. Once your kid turns 18, Tito, they can go apply for welfare, get their own money, get their own check, if they're out on their own and you're no longer claiming them on taxes, they actually don't have to go to work. Listen, go to work, kids. We're not up here advocating, the social safety net for you guys and welfare. This is a discussion.
I'm just trying to tell you, right?
But I would almost think it's different. I'm gonna tell you why I think that is a little bit more. I think I don't know if I go into that deep in the politics of it. I do think that if this was to happen in Georgia, there's that sports live at the forefront of some of these states so much that you in Alabama, they would get a Nick Saban sitting there talking to the legislation. They would get ex-NFL players and parents uprising strictly about the sports aspect on how that's going to change the dynamic of their thing. I think it's more a culture. We're not a sports culture in New England. as much bull that we talk, as tough as everybody try to make it seem like, oh, we up here, we popping. We not popping like that. We not popping. That very few times, Tito, and all of the legislation locally and statewide in Connecticut, do you ever see people marching on behalf of the sports side?
No. Well, we
you
also
never see it. People will march for salaries, which they should. People will march for education, which they should. People march for health care, which they should. They never, to my knowledge, in my lifetime, I've never seen, other than 2020 when they let us play, I've never seen the sports community rally together to push back or push forward a bill that would help young athletes in the state of Connecticut besides 2020 let us play. That's the only time I've ever seen
we're
it.
behind.
They actually, the Facebook page let us play.
We're behind in the sports culture, and part of it is like why our kids aren't getting the looks other people looks. They're way younger than a lot of the counterparts they're going against when they come to getting recruited nationally. That's just the bottom line. We push the kids out way too early over here, and it's affecting the sports because our kids are younger for the most part than older in most cases. And it's clear. It's clear. Like I said, the next Connecticut teams that go down south, if you bump into a Florida team or even a team from anywhere down south, look at their ages, look at the grade. I guarantee they're on the higher end of the age and they're at the same grade you are. Trust me.
So I think I'm going to start asking this every podcast, every time we bring up a topic, because I think we owe it to the people to at least try. We're not always going to accomplish this. I guess it wouldn't really work in this situation. This is more of a discussion, but what's the remedy? How do we remedy this situation? What's the answers? Do you think, let me ask you this, do you think prep schools is the way? We're in New England, we're in Connecticut.
Right.
Is prep schools the way? Is that the way? Should that be the way everybody should be pushing?
With the new NIL deals in the transfer portal, you are wasting your money if you're going to prep school in 9th grade. Unless you get some spectacular deal, you should just go to your regular high school, ball out, get your film together, get your numbers together when these combines that we're trying to put on locally. Make sure your numbers meet what the Division I numbers or even the top high school numbers are for your age, and work on your craft that way, and push it on Twitter where you need to get on if you want any chance of getting yourself any kind of deal in college, and work it that way. Going to a prep school right now in 9th grade, and if you're a family that's barely getting by and you can't make the sacrifices, you're much better putting your kid at his local high school. And if you need the 5th year, take it on the back end. But you need to go to high school for your first 4 years, because if not, you're going to be throwing your money away, especially if you're on the younger side of your age, because there's too many layers. Everything got pushed back layers now because of the portal and NIL.
Carl Taylor said, Tito is correct. I see a lot of parents sending their kids to prep from public, not for grades or age, but because they aren't the player that they thought they were and use reclassification. You can tell by if the parents are paying the tuition or if the student athlete is on a full scholarship. Kids in New England prep schools are known to play elite level football and look at differently. We have plenty of talent in New England, but most don't take advantage. Our preps up north are the best.
Well, if you notice, the kids that we do get going from Power 5, they only happen to go to school here. They're not from Connecticut. They're all from other places. Look at the couple guys that got Power 5 deals out of Connecticut this year. They all from prep schools, and none of them are from Connecticut. They're in Connecticut prep schools, but those kids aren't from Connecticut.
Let me say something. I'm gonna look that up, by the way, so we can try. No, I'm saying we want to try to provide them with the numbers, right?
But I'm almost positive. Prep schools don't exist nowhere but in the Northeast. That's a Northeast thing, predominantly a New England thing. Like prep schools and stuff, those type of academic institutions were things that were founded up this way. I'm almost positive of it.
Luca Reynolds from Cheshire Academy. Where's he from?
Originally?
Connecticut. I think he's from Cheshire,
Yeah,
Connecticut.
but that's where the school is. That's where the school is.
Isn't that him playing at Cheshire? No, regular.
No, that's Cheshire Academy. No, that's Cheshire. There's Cheshire High School's called Cheshire High School. Cheshire Academy is a prep school.
No, I know. I thought he played at Cheshire. In the play of the year.
You have to look at when they did the signings. They tell you where their original hometown is. You'd have to look at the newspapers. You'd have to find newspaper archives.
No, it got to be on here where this kid is from. I'll keep searching, but
let's get to the next topic because we've been on this one for 25 minutes.
That's okay. We need to find out where these kids are from. I think this is good information. Where are these kids' high school athletic background? Where did this kid come from?
Was he a Power 5 school? Where did he go anyway? Let's talk about that.
Penn State.
Oh, Penn State, yeah, it's Power 5.
Yeah. So anyway, let's before we move on, let's look. Number one, these are the ranks, by the way. Cheshire Academy, Penn State, Avon Farms, Georgia. Cheshire Academy.
Elijah Newby's a Connecticut kid. Yep. Elijah Newby's a Connecticut kid. I believe the Newby kid's a Connecticut kid.
Elijah. Dante Reno. Manuel Bigel, Wallingford, Connecticut. Jack Hines, boom. Hartford Hurricane Zone, went to Florida in 2016. Started running back and middle linebacker Kiki, one of our alumni. I had him on our page. He went to Virginia. Ellis McAdoo, I don't know where he went. But then you got Duke,
St. Thomas,
Hamden, huh?
Yeah. We want to see where these kids are physically from, though. That's where all those schools are, like Brunswick's in Greenwich.
I know. I'm just trying to show people in Connecticut where
these are all the Power 5 dudes, and I guarantee I've only seen one name that I know. So we know Kiki's from Connecticut, and I think Elijah Newby's from Connecticut. The rest of these guys.
This says Windsor, Connecticut.
Look, all right. So Ty Karan, who's going to Louisville, he went to St. Thomas More, but he's from Chelmsford, Mass.
Yes. So it looked like it's telling you where the kids are from, right?
Maybe it is. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's from Windsor. He went to Cheshire Academy. So the Frank Vella. Yeah.
Is St. Thomas More in Oakdale, or is he from Oakdale?
We don't know. I don't know. I would say he was from Oakdale. Where's
St. Thomas More at?
Out there near New London, out around New London area somewhere. Out there, Oakdale, Connecticut. It's in Oakdale, I'm pretty sure.
St. Thomas More it says New Haven. No, that can't be it. Hold on. I spelled it wrong. Right? St. Thomas
More prep school in Oakdale. It's in Oakdale. I see it. It's on your Google bar. It's in Oakdale. It's right here.
So it's saying that's where anyways.
Yeah. We'll look into that. We'll get the answers to that. We're going to get the answers to that.
Ellis IMG, but he from Connecticut, true. We know Ellis automatic. Yep, he was at IMG. He went. Mike Kyle said, hopping into this mid-convo, but goes back to resources and competition. Prep schools got the showcase for coaches to come out and scout during evaluation periods, and it's easy for coaches to recruit. That is true. Darity said, no way. There's no way you go to a public school over a prep school. Not in Connecticut. The CIAC is weak in a national scale, period. You find a few studs, but nothing compared to prep school. The education difference alone is enough to go prep if a kid has a chance to go. They destroyed the public school football scene to the point where we will always be questioned about the competition level. In prep, competition would never get questioned. I believe that's
I don't disagree with you, Darity. What I'm saying is, though, now with the current climate of the NIL deals, the NIL deals, I don't know why I can't say that word. The NIL deals and the transfer portal, the reclassing stuff and front loading all that money and making that investment for 4 or 5 years may not be necessary, because by the time they start looking at even the 5th year seniors, there's 7 levels of things they're looking at before they even get to the 5th year senior. it can be a waste of money for people that are financially strapped. That's what I'm trying to say.
But I think what he's saying, Tito, if prep schools is 5 levels down, why choose a high school for free, which is going to put you 10 levels down? You almost assuming you absolutely have no shot at making it out. Now, I don't see any regular schools here. This doesn't say prep schools only.
Right? No, there's not. Bro, the Power 5 guys all came from prep schools.
There's not one high school on this list, a regular high school.
Yeah. I know.
Now, I don't see like that. That I think that kind of speaks to the point where if you believe in your child and you have the option, I think you make the investment. I think that's what Verity's saying. Like, you almost have no choice but to take your shot. Because going to high school, if you have an opportunity, not to say there won't be some high school players that will go, but if you get an opportunity and you got an offering, it's going to be tough. But for 5 years, 4 or 5 years, you got to pay that money. You can't almost say no. Like, you almost can't say no if you want a shot. This list proves it. Where are the regular high schools? Am I wrong? Like, let me look.
Those guys go to Central. The regular high school kids go to Central and Sacred Heart. They'll go D1, but they're going to FCS. They're not going to go Power 5. They're going to go FCS, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. But, I mean, we know what the dream is, Tito.
Right. But I'm going to say, the dream is for 1 in a million. Okay? It's not, if you don't look like a pro athlete, you're more than likely not going to be a pro athlete. I don't think people understand what pro athletes look like. Like, when you see these guys, they stand out. Anywhere, at the carnival, at the club, wherever you see them, they stand out. Like, you're going to know, oh, that dude's somebody. If your kid don't look like that, I'm sorry.
Listen, I don't know if people know this. I'm going to just name the top 5 #1 schools according to niche.com for athletes in the state of Connecticut: St. Joseph, Glastonbury High School, Darien High School, Xavier High School, and Daniel Hand.
Wow.
In that order.
All suburban schools, too. All in the suburbs.
There is not, let me see if I could see any.
Oh, no, the public school sports has been ruined, bro. Like, we all know that. You ain't gonna find the New Havens, Hartfords, Waterburys, New Britons, Stanford. You ain't gonna find that.
When's the highest? Top 25? I mean, that's the closest you're going to get to.
Right, but Windsor's a suburban community too. Windsor's not
it is, but let's not act like we don't have Hartford kids going there, right? Like we do. And I don't see any school. I mean, New Canaan is 6. Anyway, I think that it is definitely
you'll never get conversation
playing for your hometown. Him and his son was at John Bosco last weekend.
Good, right.
It's simple. The prep school prepares student athletes better than the public schools. I would agree with that. If you look at education,
he's a situation. He's a situation that because I know who that particular parent is. He's been willing to make the sacrifices for his kids. Not everybody's willing to do that. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to have the means to do it. Part of that plays into it.
Pro athletes are different. They stand out, said Jason Arnold.
Yeah.
Who was a fun fact, Tito? So my daughter ran track in Bloomfield with Brazinio. Yeah. I met Jason. He was used to be the president of the Nutmeg League.
No, yeah, I know who he is.
Oh, well, see, I didn't.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I know that he was the president of that. You know what I'm saying? That thing over there.
Deshaun said, Glastonbury, here we come. Mike Cowles, fact, Tito. His son is 6'3", long arms, and barely got facial hair, and recruiting picked up once he cracked 6'2".
Listen, genetics. People that don't think genetics plays into this. People that think that genetics don't play into this, you're very mistaken. And I mean, just to be even more honest with people, you better hope you're plus 6 feet these days in any sport. You better be plus 6 feet. Like, you just have to be. Because size
football,
matters.
You could make it underneath. I don't know if there's another sport where you can make it under 6 feet.
Not even
football might be the only one where you got a shot.
And even those guys is coming less and less and less and less. Like,
Well, if you're a 4'4" or less,
Oh yeah, that's
you're going to
different.
get a shot.
But
But
here
dog,
we go. You
we
talking about
gotta
the
give the
1%
people
of America.
we gotta tell the people, like, there's a lot of kids out there that's not above 6 feet. I don't want us to be saying Phil and Tito said we don't got no chance of making it. No, you go to do your track, do your training, get your speed up. If you ain't got the genetics on height, there's other ways to get there. That's all I'm saying. I want to make sure we give the people the info. There's a lot of people that's not 6 feet, parents that's on this platform, brother. So I just want to be clear.
We got to stop. We got to stop being delusional. Even with what we're trying to explain to the parents, we got to stop being delusional about your children's ability. There's a couple other factors that play into it besides ability, and size is a major factor. Size is a major factor.
So I'm gonna ask one of my. I'm gonna correct myself next week, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say something. I'm gonna ask one of my D1 contacts this. I think speed would get you just as much recognition as size. The right speed, I think, will get you. I'm gonna ask. We could
bet our spot over there at dinner. I'm telling you, you're wrong. I'm telling you, you're wrong right now.
I'm gonna ask a coach that if you got a 5'8" kid running a 4.3 40, will he get just as much as a look as a kid that's 6'8" and out of shape? I'm gonna ask him. I believe it will.
I'm gonna tell you this one. The kid that's 6'1", would you say his time was? Would you say his time was?
A kid about 5'8" that's running a 4.3 40 or so.
I'm telling you, they're gonna take the kid. I'll tell you, they're gonna take the kid to 6'1" running a 4.5. I guarantee you that. They're gonna take the kid to 6'1".
That doesn't ring true with the NFL draft. I could pull it up right now. Look how many people got drafted that was under 6 feet.
How many? I don't know. I'm not a big NFL guy.
Before 6 foot guys.
How many did? Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up. I don't think it's as many as you think. There may be a couple.
No, I didn't say it was. No. See, as many as I think. Now that's a whole nother way. I'm not saying it's a lot. I'm saying it would get you the same look. If I'm 5'8" and I'm running a 4.3 40, ain't no way in hell they taking a 6'1" kid that's running a 4.5 or 4.6 when I'm running a 4.3 and we both playing cornerback. I just don't think. I think that I would definitely have some stock to say that they're going to look at that kid running a 4.3 40. I believe so. I believe so. I'm gonna look it up. Of course, we got to look way deep because they ain't get the quarterbacks dominated so goddamn much.
Laser, let me find out them is your high school numbers you putting up there, bro. Because you about 5'7", and I know they call you Laser because you was running some crazy shit back then too.
So the Eagles, the first cornerback was picked up. They got him exactly at 6 feet. First cornerback.
What was his time? Not that it matters. I mean,
let me share it. Let's do it together. You know, we could cut out some of the stuff on the back end. I like this discussion. This is good stuff. So we have where we at right here.
Yeah.
From Toledo.
Six feet, 195. So he's damn near 200.
This is why they got him, bro. 4.3 40.
Right. When look at his vertical jump. His vertical jump is wide too. Look, because they look at that. That's another big factor. Your vertical, especially for DBs, they're gonna look at those two things. The time, his time
at 4.5,
and then that vertical jump. Look, Byron Jones moved from New Britain, who got drafted by the Cowboys way back when. They basically took him in the first round because he did something crazy with the jumping. Some crazy
first
numbers.
wide receiver drafted. 5'11". Look at his 40.
4.2,
speed,
yeah, that's what.
Speed will get you. Speed,
look at the vertical jump, though. Look at the vertical. Look at the vertical jump again.
Speed, though. It's the speed, my
yeah, of course. A receiver, of course. A receiver. You got a guy running 4.2.
I'm talking about cornerback receiver. I'm not talking about a guard. I said 5'8".
Yeah, but let's see how many of those guys.
I mean, I haven't even seen.
Do the second receiver. Do the second receiver. Let's see the second receiver. Who's the second receiver taking?
Ricky Pearson, Florida, 31, 6'1", 4'4".
Yeah.
I think
Look
this
at the vertical jump again.
is more
Look at the vertical
important
jump.
than this, though.
Yeah.
You said I think the speed is more important than the height. I like I said, I could be wrong, and I'm gonna come apologize because I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna make a phone call and ask. Is it if I had a 5'8" kid, a 5'9" kid that's running a 4.3 40, and you got a 6'2" kid running a 4.5 4.6, who you taking? I think he's going to take the 4.3 guy. I just got a thought.
Definitely a receiver and corner. I'm not
what else
argue.
is a 5'8" guy gonna play, dog?
Yeah.
What else is a 5'8" guy gonna play in the NFL, Tito? He can't play no damn linebacker. Well, you could play linebacker, but even Dwight Freeney was like 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", but it was considered short for DN. And what did he beat them with?
Now, was he 5'10"? No, I think he's a 6 footer too. He's 6 feet. He's a 6'6".
And they say that. You know how that go. Hold on. Let me see what Dwight Freeney was.
I think he's a 6 footer, bro. I remember seeing him in high school. We about the same size. I might be a little taller because I'm 6'2", maybe a little taller, but
White. What was his 40 time? They say he's 6 feet.
Yeah, I think that's what he's about. Yo, when you see him in person, he's another one. When you see him in person, this is a former pro athlete. You could just tell this dude was something. Like his physique, you could just tell.
I just truly believe that when you we got a freshman at Central that run a 10-4 100 now at Mississippi State is looking at him. Of course, that's damn near. I mean, a 10-4 is almost like a 4.2 40.
That's almost like Olympic track speed in 100.
Yeah, the average corner drafted is 5'10" or 5'11.
Could be.
I don't know. Where you get that stat from, Tyree?
Yeah, John, cats just be, whatever. Let's go.
Average cornerback in the NFL. Average cornerback in the NFL height. Let's see what it is. He was right. 5'11". That's the average cornerback height in the NFL. Anyway, I think that's a great discussion. I think that parents out there, with that being said, whether you blessed with the height or you got to work on your speed, there's multitude of things that has to take place for youth to be successful, but it's no different than us as adults in life. We have to do multiple things to be successful. Great discussion. Love it. Next topic, Tito. Moving up with your teams in youth football, it can cause concern for programmers and coaches.
Absolutely. Now, I know we've talked about this many times, the pros and cons of rotating with your team or keeping coaches at one level. One of the biggest cons, and I told you this from personal experience, when you come up with a team, I can almost guarantee you by the time you get to 13, 14, that team ain't the same team that you started with. It almost like it implodes and it becomes a new team at 13 and 14 because it is impossible to maintain those relationships over 4, 5, even after year 3, 4, 5 years. It's impossible to make everybody happy. You grow disdain for each other. You get too close to people. You start not to like people. I've seen it happen, and I'm only speaking for personal experience. I've done the rotation now. One time with my oldest son, we moved to New Britain, so that didn't happen when he was in 7th grade. And East Hartford, it happened to me, where it kind of blew up at the end. Not that it blew up that we didn't have a team. We still had the core of the team, but it wasn't the same team that we came up with. And now in my current situation, this rotation is this last spring team of them. There's still a lot of the core, but it's very much a new team. And it's because after a while, shit gets old with certain people and there's you can't fake it no more. It's time for people to move on from each other. And that's one of the major cons with rotating with your team and why I never like doing it. Why I've only done it 2 or 3 times in my whole 23 years. And why I've been at 14U or 13U the majority of my career. It's much easier for me to operate getting a new group every year. That's the way I prefer it. That's the way I would always love to have it if I could have it my way all the time. But we know sometimes with the way your program is, you know the guys that need to rotate and who don't. And then it's kind of a fine balance of how you approach it.
I have never been in favor of moving with teams.
Right.
You know that. It has happened the last couple years because my organization has worked out like that. There were certain staffs that left gaps, which allowed everybody to move up. I don't really see it doing it next year unless a staff decides to move out the way and quit. I don't force people to move. I don't force. Let's take.
Not that you don't force them. You try not to remove people, but you have removed people, Phil. Like you have.
Wait. No. Let's be clear. I've never removed a staff to allow a staff to move up.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying
I've removed, and I didn't remove. I've removed coaches from title positions. I have asked the coach, you can no longer be head coach because you were on our field, you were drunk. It was a playoff game that was embarrassing. I got to speak to the community on that. It's disrespectful. I need you to take a different position and work on yourself. But the person I'm going to put out there as the head coach for the forefront and the community I'm representing, they're representing me, and I have to answer for that person's conduct. So if you're going to conduct yourself like that, then you can't be a part of what I'm doing at the forefront of it. I don't ever want to not allow nobody to give back to our community. I get we all struggle with stuff, and I'm not going to just dump on nobody that may be struggling with drinking, or maybe he couldn't stop. I don't know. I wasn't close to him, but I did ask him to take a different role. In my face, he said yes and gave me that. Behind my back, he got an attitude, and that's why he left. I actually didn't kick him out. I removed him to another position. He know and I know. Now he'll run around and tell everybody other things, right? Oh, Phil fired me. No, that's not called firing. That's called holding you accountable. When you show up to a playoff game on a Tuesday night drunk in front of our community, you're the second seed playing the sixth seed, and you lose. Not only are the people mad that they lost, but now they want to have a discussion about you because you didn't only lose, you weren't even prepared to coach these children properly. And what do they say? They say, Phil, I'm not coming back if so-and-so is the coach. What he did, and you know what? I go by the program. That's what I like to call us. But remember the movie, The Program? What did he say, Tito? Ain't nobody bigger than the program. Not me, not you, no coach. So if this community in Hartford decides that Phil has had his course, I pass over the checkbooks, I gracefully bow out, I'll go do something else to help kids. Nobody's bigger than the program. And so did I fire him? No. What I'm talking about with this situation is I'm never going to remove a staff to make room for the staff that want to come up. I just don't believe in that. Now, if it happens to work and that staff happen to want to be going up and you happen to want to move up, I'll let that happen by attrition. In my system, it's not automatic. It should not be. But my coaches in my program already know that. Now, they'll talk and say, yo, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. I just let it happen. I don't say yes. I don't say no. We let it happen until there needs to be a discussion. Just my opinion, but I do not think that moving up with an entire team from 6U to 14U is a good thing. I've never been in favor of it. I want kids to get coached by different coaches. Some going to be good. Some going to be bad. Some going to scream. Some going to be quiet. Some going to be smart and educated in X's and O's. Some may not be the best. But in the end, I think putting somebody out that was taught well, that's well-rounded, that got a little bit of Tito coaching style, Phil coaching style, Larry coaching style, Deshaun coaching style, G coaching style, Mike coaching style, Chaz coaching style. When he go to prep school, whether his coach is screaming at him or he calm, his coach asks him to watch film or not, he'll be prepared because he would have had all of those things. Just my opinion. I'll let you go.
No, like I said, there's places where I've seen it work. And in my personal experience, I don't like it. It's only worked out for me once out of the 3 times I did it. The other times there was a lot of speed bumps in the road. Because, bro, when you be with people like if you don't really mess with somebody, but you're forced to be with them because you're like part of the team, committed, and you really don't know each other, over time you get to know each other, and you don't always like each other. You get what I'm saying? And that it grows disdain, especially when you got to make decisions based on what's best for the team. Not everybody can understand that, especially when they're close, when they become close with you. Now they think they have a say in what you're doing, and it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying?
I've never moved up with it. I've never moved up with a team more than 1 year, and I have went to Florida with a team and then gave up the team to the staff above me. I did that multiple times. My staffs can tell you, even with the whole team, the whole parents and everybody, like, yo, come back, let's do this again. I passed off. Mike Milner will tell you.
No, you passed off. I remember you passed off a Florida team. You passed off a Florida team.
Florida teams, and right back in Florida. But I have that desire to get new. I like the desire to see what I can do new. I know there's a lot of people out there with immaculate resumes, and all they do, because they're in position of power, is grab the best team in their program every year. And what are people gonna say? You know, that's like me going, yo, Larry Myers, your team star-studded. Man, nobody can beat them. I'm the head coach. Of course, I'm going to run around and go, you see me, I'm going to Florida again. Well, you kind of grab the best team. I ain't saying Larry Myers for everybody out there's got the best team in our program. He do got a star-studded team in our program. But I don't want nobody saying, Phil saying Larry got the best team. 9 U's good. 14 U's going to be good. 13 U's going to be good. You'll be good. But all I'm saying is, when you're a coach in an organization, you are the billboard for that organization. An untrustworthy coach can damage the organization. That was my point, Tito, when we talked about removing, right? You know who I'm talking about. And you even know where he's at right now. And the thing is, Tito, funny enough, you had discussions with me years ago about removing him. But you weren't even talking about that part. You was talking about just the sheer level of education in football.
It was just terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
It was terrible.
And
I mean, in both situations, with both them situations that we're talking about, I told you from the get-go, yo, you got to come up off these dudes. Like, you just do. You got to come up, because I don't know, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I think you have to have a system or something. And I'm not saying like you have to be a system offense. I'm saying you have to have a system of belief where you're teaching something. It just can't be you block that cat or you blitz that gap. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have a system of belief in whatever it is you're doing. And you could always tell those guys that don't a mile ahead. And you should never let those guys rotate with a team, in my opinion. Period. End of story.
Wayne, what up, Wayne? Wayne said, I never had a team more than 1 year. Coaches follow in his program to about 12U. That's where they leave. So, Tito, that brings me to a point, and we're staying on topic, but Blaze joined Pop Warner. Yep. And I had the beauty.
I've seen him play twice in person. I've seen him play twice in person. Like he's small, really bro. Small. He's small. I know, but he like is that. Electric. I'll tell you the word I got for him. Yeah, it's electric. He's electric. He is electric. You get what I'm saying? He's electric. I'm not saying he's the fastest kid in the world. I'm saying the dude got that. You know what I'm saying? So where he's gonna hit you in the crease. We're gonna hit you in the crease and go. You know what I'm saying? And go. It's gonna be like, oh.
He joined West Chase, which is a national powerhouse.
Top program, flawless. One of Pop Warner's best programs. They're out of Tampa.
Right. Yep. And so I watched the thread down in Miami that
he's from Tampa, though, so it makes sense. He's from Tampa. Blaze is from Tampa. He's from West Tampa, I believe, something like that. He used to play for the Tampa Jaguars. So him going there makes a lot of sense. He's from that area.
So I was watching his father talk back to the people, because they was like, they basically was saying, oh, y'all said Pop Warner had no credibility. What about now? And they were, and a lot of the dudes in Florida Elite was conceding, like, wow, if he there, it adds credibility to it, right? But his father said something interesting. His father said, once you get to the 12U level of your youth football career, you should specifically be putting your child with coaches that can help them on the next level. Underneath that, it was okay for anybody to coach. But now the decision is made to be with the best coaches they can be with. I found that to be interesting because that what we talking about, and look, programs right now. Before I say this, programs are about to say, like you said, you leave, but a lot of programs, if a lot of youth parents, if they think like Blaze, dad, I think it was his father, if they or whoever posed, if they think like that, could potentially leave programs after 12. If I'm in New Britain program, Tito's not moving everybody up. His parents think I'm the best one to prepare him for high school, but Tito ain't gonna move ex-coach. What's the options in New Britain? Do it your way or leave, right?
I mean, I don't know why you're using us as an example, but I mean,
I'm asking. I'm only using you because I'm asking you.
Yeah.
I
Well,
forget about
saying,
you. If it's XY program and that president won't move their 12U coaches, and the 11U coaches is the end of the season, they want to move up.
Remember that conversation we had? You remember that conversation we had last week? Sometimes you have to play the politics that's going to push your organization forward. Right. You got to make the tough. Here's a situation where you got to make a tough decision.
What would be your decision
for the group of kids? My decision is always going to be based on keeping the team together. So how are we keeping this team together? If this coach is the problem and hindering this team from staying together,
nobody's a problem. But the parents on that team only want to play for that.
If they feel the next coach is what's best for that team, and I know the next coach is what's best for that team, the decision made itself. You get what I'm saying? Right. He's moving. You're out of here. They're going up there with that guy, and you could either stay there or we could find another situation for you and another place of need.
Coaches be in it for egos. He coached under Larry Myers, and they're good. You have to be team-oriented and know how to get in where you fit in, which he did. Larry, I'm not even reading this comment. His moves is crazy. Blaze, they talking about.
Yeah.
Y'all think he going Power 5?
I'm going to say it's going to be a long shot. I've seen his father. I know who his father is. I don't know who his mother is. I've seen his father, and I've seen him in person, and I don't know, man. He's not the biggest of guys, bro. He's just not.
Hey, Blaze, get to a 4-4, baby. We just showed you stats. You out of here. Tell Blaze the Hartford Hurricanes 12, you coming. See you at Nationals, West Chase. Saying it with my chest out. Gene, I'm a believer of parents making the decision with the kids. I'm not allowed to be mad. I got to respect it. Kia said, I agree with that. I made the exact decision at 14U. I needed a coach and a staff that was going to transition my son to high school, to prep school. Good job, Phil. Love coaching.
You got all the sound effects there. Go ahead, sound off.
Nah.
With the butt shots.
Larry Jr. wants in. Larry Jr. wants in. Oh, it sounded like Junior wants to go up to you, Larry, to 11U. Don't start that, please. That's a whole nother.
That's bad. That's a whole
nother.
That's
going to come out, Tito. In the coming weeks, we're going to discuss those that got every level and what do you do with the 11U kid that want to go to 12U. But if you leave,
your age dictates where you play. That's it. This ain't up for discussion.
What if my son care who you put me at 12U? Can I take him with me?
Who?
So I can't take my son with me at 12U?
If he's 11?
Can I? Yeah, I can't take my son. He can't play for me at 12U?
I would say that's not what's the best interest for the program. And because of that, if I allow you to do it now, I got to allow everybody to do it. It's just not happening. That's it.
You hear that, Deshaun? That's the exact conversation. My son wrestles in Connecticut because I feel like wrestling in Connecticut is better, and I'll be damned. Coke said 100. Anyways, so yeah, moving up with your team. I think we talked about the pros and the cons. I think we have a.
Well, we only talked about the cons. We talked about from my personal perspective, and I'm telling you, two out of the 3 times I did it didn't work. So
well, you talked about the con. I talked about the pros.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's healthy to be around people that ain't from you. Like if me and you, like for instance, me and you, we've been messing with each other for 20-something years. You know what I'm saying? We know each other for 20-something years. We can't get sick of each other because we've been sick of each other. But now when you're around a person you really don't vibe with for 5, 4, 3, even, anything over 3 years, that shit gets strained after a while, especially if you're not, you care about the same things. It's just, I just think it's bad. It ends up
I'm
bad.
going to tell you a story, Tito, and I got to sugarcoat this story. Those involved will know who I'm talking about, but those that won't know. So, we were the coach that we were talking about earlier, no longer in the Hurricanes, right? So he's now starting, even though walking around like a billboard around coaches that he's now around, haven't been around him much, maybe since 2019, right? Or 2020, should I say. And now you see the cracks because I'm starting to hear things about what he's saying about the other coaches. That's what happened when you really don't mess with coaches. You start to see really cracks. And they'll start saying, that person took my team what was supposed to be cool with me. Well, that's the same thing you said about me, right? So when I hear that, it's in one ear, out the other, because to me, that's what you do. That's how you start your arguments. Now, he was around me for 10 years. I gave him his first head coaching gig ever. I ain't talking about who the person.
Yeah, he ran with your peoples. I knew he ran with your peoples.
He got his first coaching gig in the city of Hartford as well. You know what I'm saying? And that was in what, 2010, 2009?
You know what really happens? When somebody really don't mess with you, it ends that way. However it ends, it's because of that original sentiment. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm rocking with this dude for this reason, but I really don't feel this dude. And then that always, when you're trying to rotate with that, that's gonna come to a head at a point. You get what I'm saying? Because you can't fake it forever. You just can't.
So, hey, Deshaun, I disagree. Deshaun said that comment. The problem, Deshaun, I think you have is...
Hold on, let's read it. Kids playing up should
be based on IQ, size, passion. I don't like the fish in a small pond theory. I played 18 varsity, etc. Smash on kids my same age wasn't appealing. Deshaun, the problem is you're not running a program from the top. You're thinking selfishly about a team and one kid. We have the duty holistically about an organization, and we can't let the best 11U kids because you think, or 12U kids because the coach think that they can play up, leave when it's going to collapse potentially 20 other youth, because we have the duty about providing an outlet off the streets for those 20 other kids as well. And if we pull off those 3, they go home, we lose the team, but this team is successful because those 3 kids wanted the ability to play with who they feel like they can play with, right? Who they feel like they can play with. We're actually doing a disservice to our community, but possibly a service to 3 parents. And to me, I think we have a duty to talk about the masses. I think the masses is what matter. You know what I'm saying? I think the masses is what matter. That's just my opinion. So I don't know if you know about this, Tito. We could talk about it. If not, we can table it for next week.
You're going to talk about Cormani MC Clay. I don't.
He's a recruit. All right, so we'll talk about it next week.
I'm not familiar with what y'all talking about.
Gene said, "I'm not taking kids under the age of 9 years old. Go crazy at 10, then 9. He should be the cheat code." True. Kids should play with their age, said Fred Stevens. I tend to agree with that. As a president, doing every level, you have to as much as you can follow that. Now, I wouldn't force Tito whose son is 12, and Tito was coaching. I mean, I wouldn't force Tito whose son is 11, and he's coaching 12, If Tito say y'all want my son to be with me, we gonna show up and leave. I tend to let it happen as long as the team underneath him has the numbers, have the youth, and got a staff. If not, those kids got to come back down. It's not optional. Or they could go play somewhere else. That's going to be my rule. That's what you know. That's what we're that I think, because nobody bigger than the program. Larry said he's a 5-star. Here we go. He's a 5-star Colorado commit that went to the transfer portal. Now nobody is touching him because he spoke bad about Dion in Colorado.
Listen, I get it. I get it.
Flash and all of that on yeah.
I get it. And I wouldn't touch him neither because it shows low character. But we know, even from here locally, that there's a lot of low character people coaching these kids, and kids are going to gravitate to who they're comfortable with. And obviously nobody got in that kid's ear before. It's not the smartest thing to go bashing the dude where you're just leaving there and then going out, like you say, going nuclear on people on the way out the door. That is not the way to get it done in the business world. It's just not a smart thing to do. It's not a smart thing to do.
And and parents, stop falling for people that's offering y'all pizza parties. You talk about low character people. If I'm offering you a pizza party for your son to come play,
living in their mother's basements, living in their mother's basements.
That offer you pizza party, cleats, all of that. We maybe that needs to be its own discussion. I hear a lot of parents tell me I was offered a pizza party, or I was offered cleats, or I was offered this. Everybody in the Hurricanes will tell you, nobody can ever say, Phil told me if I come to him, he'll give me a pair of cleats. I don't understand it when I'll give you a pair of cleats anyway if you don't play for the Hurricanes. I don't need you to give me cleats. Gene, I'm not giving you a pair of cleats because I know you're what you about to do.
Like when we talk about this kid, obviously nobody was in his ear like, dude, you want to leave somewhere, you just go and leave. You don't go blow up the whole world.
We got to investigate. Nate said the word is he was getting high and showing up to meetings and practice late. See, it's going to come out. I'm sure some of that stuff. Gene Miller, back to the moms. He's offering y'all stepdad services.
Wow.
On that note, Tito, our last topic of the day, which I think is a good topic. So we talked about the new phenom that we're seeing in youth football in Connecticut, because it's actually tied now, Tito. Spring teams, All-Star travel teams, the numbers are actually tied. The amount of programs doing it. I think the future may be.
Well, you're missing the third parts of that component.
Go ahead.
Now we have spring football. We have All-Star games in the offseason. Now you have these preseason tournaments, which is a new thing. You get what I'm saying? Not a new thing.
Those All-Star teams are the ones that's going to go there, not the spring travel teams.
No. The preseason tournaments you usually show up to,
about like the YSC.
Like Maryland Heat tournament. You're gonna show up there with your fall team. That's different than the other two things.
Right. Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So I think there's 3 components to this. Is all I'm saying. There's 3 components.
So the Route 8 boys, the CT intruders. That's more like the All-Star lane, right? Where they're going out. I'm gonna tell you, I really like that idea. I'm not for spring. I say that, I don't. But it seemed to me that it gives people time in between to still go do their trainings, do their other sports and everything. I could be wrong, and somebody from the Route 8 boys, Briasia, if you out there, or the intruders, correct me. You guys aren't playing every week. Am I right? Is it sporadic? Like, are you guys playing only when the tournament come up? So are those kids able to run track, do wrestling, and do that other stuff? I don't know. Gene said youth spring football is like the adult semi-pro league. Gene, we gonna have to mute you, Gene. Now, I'm not knocking any parents that do spring. I'm sure you're getting better. I'm sure you love your coaches. There's some great coaches that's coaching spring. A lot of them I'm cool with. That's the decision that the program and all of them making. I'm not knocking them. I'm not in the off season. I'm an old school guy. I just believe you should train because that's what we did. Maybe I'm old school and I haven't got up to the new standard yet, and that's cool. I'll accept that. But I do think that the new wave, because I see spring. Remember, in 2020, how many spring teams was it in Connecticut?
I don't know.
Waterbury Elite.
No. That was 2021. The first spring.
2021. How many spring teams was it? And I
No,
told you.
I'm sorry. 2021 was Pop Warner.
It was 8. Right?
2021 was when Pop Warner tried to add their fall in the spring. 2022 we brought NEYT to
did not have fall in the spring.
They tried to, and then it fell out, and we did it anyway.
Tito.
And 2021 was a spring season because of the pandemic. It was supposed to be a spring season.
2021. It was not 2021.
In 2021, you played 2 games in the spring, dog, and you pulled your team after the second game. You played 2 games in the spring in 2021, dog, because you didn't play 2020. In 2021, you played in the spring.
In 2020. In 20, you played during the pandemic, Tito.
Yes,
y'all
that was 2020. In 2021, Pop Warner was supposed to have spring football, and you played 2 games in it.
They didn't have spring.
Right, they did, but
I'm talking about Tito.
You played. New London Nightmare played. Waterbury Patriots played. We played all these dudes. We played Mount Hope in 2021 because it was supposed to be Pop Warner, and then it fell out.
That's not the question I'm asking. How many programs were there in the spring?
I don't know. 8, maybe 7. I don't know.
Right. You and I got on this podcast and we argued, and I told you that was not here to stay. And I think I have been proven correct because 99% of them are gone and just doing the fall again. I believe, and I say that to say this, I think the All-Star travel is the new way of spring football. I do not think spring football is going to be the new way moving forward. I don't know what you think about that, but we went from 8 or 10 and we're down. And I think that yes, Lewis, OTL is one of the spring. I said it was on both sides.
Yeah, but they're only a one-off. They're a one-off. There's only one program that continuously does fall and spring, and that's mine with multiple levels.
What I'm saying is spring at all. If next, I just predict there'll be a lot more pop-ups in the.
No, I think that All-Star lane. I think that All-Star lane is a good niche for the off season. I also think maybe doing what Springfield's trying to do this year, where they're not going to start practicing until after Memorial Day and doing a couple preseason tournaments with your own fall teams. I think that's going to start to become a thing because I like that idea a little better. I think that's the way to go. I believe so, in my opinion.
Starting practice in June 1st, basically.
Basically, after Memorial Day, I guess, from what I understand, when I talked to the brother from Springfield, that's what
AYF,
they're doing.
y'all start practicing whenever y'all want for AYF?
No. Officially, no. Your fall season don't start till the last week of July. Your fall season.
So how could Springfield start practicing after Memorial Day?
They're not starting practice. I'm not saying they're starting practicing. I said they're going to do a couple tournaments in those months leading up to the season.
All right, we'll talk offline because I have a question, but I ain't trying to. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around when the tournaments are. So Maryland Heat got
the Maryland Heat tournament. So basically, you show up to the Maryland Heat tournament with your fall team,
but you got to practice.
Yeah,
that's my point.
Yeah, you got to practice. Right.
Like that. So I guess I was asking, is it possible to do in AYF? Can you practice before? That I get. That's all I was really going at. I wasn't trying to be funny. I was trying to say so they can practice before without a problem. I'm assuming, right?
No comment.
So if they're going, I mean, they're going. Like it's not. All right, never mind. Anyway, I didn't see their Oh, here we go. Let me see. I want to share it. You football, Maryland Heat football helps us. No, I don't see the flyer. I was going to share it for everyone.
Brick City went there last year. I know they have one every year. I don't know when it is.
I'm not saying they don't. I was going to share it.
Might be in July. It might be in July. I don't know when it is, but I know that thought intrigues me as well. I like the All-Star popping up. What I don't like is to pay for play All-Star games. I don't like that shit. That shit's a money grab. But these other avenues, they're starting to grow on me a little bit.
I think I might have found it. It's a Memorial Day classic. I think that's what you're talking about.
Maybe, could be, yeah.
Maryland Heat. Let me share it for everybody. Anybody interested in going could go. They only go to 13U. I was about to say I'll put my 14U in it.
Also, yeah, that's a Memorial Day classic. All right.
It says
2 days exclusive event.
13U. It's a 2-day exclusive event. Championship atmosphere. 4 teams per age group only. If y'all know the man, you better reach out now because I'm sure people hitting them up. Getting rings, custom boom boxes. They got DJs. They got professional media coverage. They say championships will be played at the St. James. I don't know what that is.
Neither.
It looked like it's hosted by Battle. Next is that next? I think that is Under Armour is there. It looked real. If anybody out there want to play, it's full already. Gene said it's already full. Came out April 2nd, so that makes sense.
Well, I think back to what we're saying. I think that that's going to be something that's going to become more. Those type atmospheres is what's going to be. You're going to see more of in the off season than even so much spring football and those pay for play All-Star games.
Spring league is good because it's development and elite teams, so the kids that need work can get it. You have to bring all-star teams to those events, Larry said. Don't worry about Springfield. We don't practice. We just line it up. I got you, Gene. All right. In a nutshell, Tito. So you believe that
I think you're going to see more of the teams that 2-3 organizations getting together to go play in those tournaments. You're going to see more of that, and I think you're going to see more fall teams show up to these preseason tournaments with their fall teams and trying to just get some extra work. I think that's the way it's going.
It makes sense. And I like that idea because
I much prefer that than all the pay-for-play All-Star games. Yeah.
Well, I think it gives these kids time to still do their other sports. They get to run track. They're not playing every week and practicing 3 or 4 times a day all the time. Just my opinion. Who am I? I ain't shit. I just got my own opinion about it. Anyway, let's wrap it up, Tito. Got anything else to tell the people?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. We got the combine coming up.
Yes, want to talk about it.
We got the A60. We got the A60 All-Star game coming up. But all I would like to say, and this is how I'm gonna leave.
Hold on. Before you say that, only the Lions is playing the Maryland Heat. That's what I got word right there. Will elaborate while Tito talk. Go ahead, Tito.
Like I told you before, we got we're always trying to push the culture forward. We were the first to do it. There's always people that are opposed or they talk shit about the things we do. But then as we keep doing them, they want to be a part of them. And I just think that's corny. And I think, you really don't feel us. Why you want to be part of our shit? Go do your own thing. Like, and I told you that kind of bothers me. That, you got all these people that want to talk bad about us and do all these things, but yet they want to be part of our events. I think that's cornball shit. And I think they need to do their own thing. Find your own lane. Like we found our own lane. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I'm going to leave it. It's your boy, Coach Correa, the General. Peace to the gods.
Yo, he said yes. Will, when is the game? OTL versus the Heat. Give us some information. If y'all can. Is it going to be streamed? If anybody know when that is, let us know. We'll
right at Memorial Day weekend. That's what I assume he's talking about. He's in the tournament in that age group.
Oh yeah, okay. It is Memorial Day weekend. So they going down to that tournament. They got in now 1 out of the 4. Must be nice to be recognized, brother. They must know y'all well in order to let y'all in. Anyway, Tito, I want to share something. My message of the day, I think, I want to show everybody something. I want everybody to see this. Can everybody see? You can see my screen, Tito?
Yep.
I want to say something. I want to ask people, did you know this jar you seeing, right? That if you put 100 black ants and 100 red ants in a jar, Tito, that nothing absolutely will happen. So if I take a jar and I put 100 black ants and 100 red ants in a jar, Tito, nothing happens, right? Here's the funny part about that, T. If I shake the jar, they start to kill each other. The black ants start to think the red ants are the enemy, and the red ants start to think the black ants are the enemy. And they start to eat each other and go at it. This is the honest God's truth. Y'all gotta Google this, right? I will put to y'all that the same thing happens in our society. That the truth of the matter is a lot of the beef, a lot of the bullshit, excuse my language, won't happen at all. We got to start to pay attention to the person shaking the jar. With that being said, it's your boy PH, the Prez, Mr. Above 140. We had a great night. Peace, love, and hair grease. Easy.